So it was like basically a sausage and egg and cheese breakfast burrito. I'm like, dude, there's no animals that are being killed, like I'm all right. But I'm like, man, I'm kind of like killing myself.
We give the viewers just kind of a background of your diet and lifestyle growing up, and just kind of what your health was like leading up to your transition to a raw vegan lifestyle?
I was the average American. We ate a lot of boxed meals, hamburger helper and mac and cheese, just your standard all around diet. Of course, there's some good home cooked meals too, like your meat, your cooked vegetables, your starch. And that was like a healthy home-cooked meal, a lot of milk, lots of cheese, pancakes in the morning, eggs and sausages. Yeah, just basically what 95 to 96% of the population eats right now. That's what we ate every single day, big tubs of cottage cheese, like I said, hamburger helper. That was a quick and easy thing. Some stroganoff, right? Get a pound of ground beef, ground it up, throw it all in the deal. It actually takes longer to do that kind of a meal than it does to prepare a delicious, healthy salad and a fresh, raw dressing.
Yeah, totally.
But, it's just not how we were trained.
Right. So what was your health like?
I played some sports growing up. I wasn't, now my dad had been in an accident when he was 16, and he got hit head on a motorcycle by a drunk driver.
Oh, wow.
And so he's been in a lot of pain his entire life. So he wasn't really active. We did dirt bike riding. That was the thing that we would do together. And so he wasn't real, into sports, any kind of team sports. So I wasn't pumped to play sports. It costs money and it takes time to drive your kid to sports. So I did a few sports, but not a lot. And growing up, of course, looking in the mirror, I wasn't, an exercise fiend. So I didn't feel like the body that I was riding in was the way it should be, but I wasn't doing the work that it takes to have a healthy body by exercising.
Mm-hmm.
Riding dirt bikes is, it takes very little. I mean, I wasn't racing, so it doesn't take a lot of strength to ride a dirt bike. You're standing up a little bit, you twist the throttle. But no, I didn't play a lot of sports. My health was, I'd say, average. I didn't play a lot of video games. I did a lot of hiking, but I wasn't necessarily overweight growing up, though. Not until maybe the middle of my high school years, I started to kind of like pack on a few more pounds, get a little more husky, because I was just eating more funk, basically. So yeah, after that, out of high school, I had a home-based business, and I just kept packing on pounds, man. Like, I actually just fired up my old computer. This have pictures back in the late 90s and then all the way up until probably about 2007. And it's really interesting to look at these pictures and how big I was. My frame, I'm 5'7", and I think the heaviest I was about 220. Oh, wow. And that's not a good weight to be on a 5'7" frame.
What was it that's kind of made the shift?
So didn't really know much about, I'd heard the term vegan. I knew what a vegetarian was. They don't eat meat, and they eat, cheese, eggs, possibly fish. I didn't necessarily know the labels like lacto-ovo or, pescatarian, any of that kind of stuff. I just basically had the generalized vegetarian. I knew that term. Vegan, I heard of vegan, and I thought, I don't ever want to be one of those food snobs. I just would eat anything and everything. Mm-hmm. Now, come 2011, it was December 2011, I got the flu. And I spent New Year's and Christmas in bed sick with the flu. So it's 2012, the start of a new year. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I want to be healthy. What the heck? And so I crack on YouTube on my little iTouch, and I didn't really know. I really didn't spend a lot of time on the computer. I didn't do any, MySpace or Facebook or any of that stuff. I had really not a lot of time on social media. I would either be riding my dirt bike, or I played, and build hand drums. I would play drums. I just didn't spend a lot of time on social media. So when I got on YouTube and started figuring out, I can't remember what I typed in, but I came across Dan the Man, Life Regenerator. Mm-hmm. And of course the algorithms pick up, Fully Raw Christina and Durian Rider. And it was basically, I didn't watch actually any of Fully Raw Christina's videos. But I really liked Dan the Man, because here in Southern Oregon, we have a lot of festivals, like hippie festivals, reggae festivals. And he reminded me of just some crazy hippie at one of these festivals. And I liked him. I was digging on what he was talking about. And of course, Durian Rider was super entertaining. He was just kind of ranting and, just a real pissed off Aussie, Yeah. And so I kind of got a kick out of these guys. And I came across the documentary Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. And so I watched Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. And this is all while I'm in bed sick. And right then I was like, oh my gosh, like this is the answer. You know, I need a juicer. I need to start juicing. This is great. Yeah. And, you know, I need to stop eating, you know, French fries and, you know, chicken on a stick dipped in ranch and barbecue sauce and chimichangas and all the crap, Red Bulls like they're going out of style. You know, I'm drinking coffee and I just felt just horrible. And, you know, like I said, I wasn't big into exercising. You know, of course, the best kind of exercise is if you're a skater or a surfer, you know, some kind of an active sport where you don't even realize you're working out, but you're working out hard every day. Sure. Like I said, with dirt biking, I wasn't a racer. I would just go out trail riding with friends, and, you know, there's not a lot of workout going out there. But anyways, after watching Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, I made the shift. I got a juicer right then. I started juicing, and I felt amazing. You know, I wasn't sick, of course. You know, it lasted a couple weeks, and then I came across Forks Over Knives, and was like, okay, all right. And then I watched Earthlings, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is nuts. This is what I'm a part of this because I'm voting for this with my dollar. And so then I became vegan, like overnight. I'm like, all right, I'm vegan. This is, you know, we're vegan. I'm telling my wife, she's my ex-wife at this point in time, but I was telling her like, we need to be vegan, you know, and I've always been a real excited, passionate person, and I get into something, I get into it, you know, I jump in with both feet. I dive headfirst into it. So here my ex is like crying, and other people in our family, not necessarily on my side of the family, but on her side of the family, and friends, you know, they're thinking I'm crazy. So basically that was the awakening. Those three films, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, Forks Over Knife, and Earthlings. But then something really strange happened. It was maybe a couple months in, it was too much. And I just put the blinders back on, and I just went back to sleep. And I just was like, all right, you know, tri-tip, and we're having burgers on a road trip. And I stopped being vegan. I didn't really make the full connection as far as like, I am absolutely not, I don't want any part of this. It wasn't as strong as it should have been at that point in time. Because you're watching those films, some of those people that watch those films are so affected that that's it, they will never. Yeah, it was more of a battle between what was going on with my spouse at the time and family and friends, where I was like, yeah, this is, you know, ignorance is bliss. I should just go back to sleep. You know, let's have a beer. Let's cook up some tri-tip, you know. Right. And so basically just went back to sleep, man. And that was 2012. Okay. 2013, I took a fall at the end of it was in 2013, towards the end of 2013, and I fell 30 feet, shattered my ankle, shattered my wrist. Wow. And my mom at that same time got diagnosed with kidney cancer. This was her second bout of kidney cancer. Her first bout was in 2007, and she had that kidney removed, and she's a cardiac nurse at the time. And so 2013, she's you know, retired. She's not working anymore. And I had said, hey, watch Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, Mom. And she watched that film, and she did a full 180, and she immediately went all in, trying to heal herself. Wow. Now at that time, I still wasn't able to make the connection. I'm just living in my own world. I'm like, I need to be as strong as I can. I'm gonna live a bodybuilding lifestyle. So I get on bodybuilding.com, and I start watching bodybuilding YouTubes on, you know, what to eat and what kind of supplements to take. And I went down that whole road, man. Okay. You know, and I had the dude that I followed on bodybuilding.com, and I was exercising like crazy. I got into great shape. I was basically doing like a keto diet. I didn't realize it was called a keto diet at the time. Just meat and vegetables, lots of whole eggs, lots of cheese, very little fruit, very little starches. And I lost like 57 pounds, and I was getting shredded, man. I was spending like 2 hours a day in the gym. Okay. You know, cause I wasn't working, you know, after I got my cast off, so I was non-weight bearing for 4 months on my ankle. And everything healed great. And I just, as my mom is learning how to heal herself naturally, doing something that I'm so proud that she did, because never in my life did I think that my mom was going to go vegan. Right. Yeah. So she's doing that, and she's like, Nate, oh my gosh, you don't know what you're doing to yourself. And I'm like, whatever, Mom. Like, I'm a bodybuilder, you know, I need supplements, some protein shakes and pre-workout, post-workout. You know, you do your thing, Mom, you heal yourself, but I'm going to get big and strong. So it was actually my son who was getting freaked out, hearing what my mom was preaching about. And he was like, Dad, I don't want to eat meat anymore. I don't want to eat sugar. I don't want to eat gluten. I don't want cancer. And I'm like, cool. All right. You know, he's 11 at the time. And I'm like, I'm preparing my meals. I've got 6 meals with me everywhere we go. We go rafting or to the river. I've always got Tupperwares full of, you know, chicken and broccoli or whatever, steak and peas, you know? Yeah. And so we're at his baseball party, and there's cake and ice cream, you know, and soda and pizza. And he pulls out all throughout the baseball year. He was reading the package. He's like, no, can't have this. No, it's got milk in it. And I'm like, dude, you're 11. Like, it's going to be okay. You're going to be all right. And he's like, I'm not doing it, Dad. I'm not doing it. I was like, all right, that's, good on you.
Yeah.
And at that baseball game, he pulls out his little thing of quinoa, his own quinoa salad with black beans and tomatoes and green onions. And I was like, dude, seriously? Like, you're not going to have pizza and cake and ice cream? Like, and he's all, no. And I'm like, all right, I'm doing this with you, bro. I'm following you.
Wow.
Let's do this. So that's when I became vegan, was with him. So, I mean, I was vegan for like maybe a couple months, 2012. And it wasn't until it wasn't until 2013 where I was like, all right, let's do this. I want to make sure you're eating properly, because I know there's a lot of, this stereotype of vegan. People think, oh, vegans are very unhealthy. They're always fat, or they're always really malnourished. And, there's not a lot of healthy vegans. That's the consensus, or however you want to say, out there.
Yeah.
So we became vegan together. And then it was, my mom is still trying to find her cure for her kidney cancer. And I'm like, you know what, Mom? Because she had that mindset. She's like, I'm healed. I'm already healed. And that's such a powerful way to think about something when you are wanting anything in this life, right? If this life is a dream and we're just dreaming up our own realities, if you want something, you can manifest it by really believing. And she really believed that. She basically put in her order to Amazon, so to speak, and it's on its way. She's already healed. It's on its way. It's coming. And I'm like, you're going to heal yourself, Mom. I know you are, because she's a very strong-willed person, and she was really strict with her protocol. So I said, when you find out and you figure out what heals your cancer, I'm going to follow you. I'm going to do what you do, because basically I'm watching, X amount of family members die of cancer. And my ongoing joke was like, oh, if we swallow our own saliva for 50 years, we'll probably get cancer, because everybody's getting cancer, some kind of cancer. So it was 2014, no, it was 2015. So I think it was 2015, she healed herself of cancer. Or maybe it was the beginning of 2016, I think it was. Either way, I know it still took me about 8 to 10 months to adopt the raw vegan lifestyle. I mean, I was living cooked vegan. I wasn't exercising anymore, so I did pack on like another 35 pounds, because I wasn't watching what I was eating. I was like, oh, cool, it's vegan. Yeah, oh yeah, let's eat this. It's, yep, this is vegan. We can do it. And wasn't exercising, totally got out of the routine of exercising, which, as I was exercising when I was keto, I was like, Nate, don't ever stop doing this. You feel amazing. This is the fountain of youth. You have to keep your body moving, because we're designed to move. That's realistically what the situation is, right?
Right.
So I, at that point in time, I was like, dang it. I'm so glad that she healed herself, but now I have to do this raw vegan thing. I said I was going to follow her, and this is obviously the bee's knees, so to speak. This is it. This is the real way to live. If you can reverse cancers, get your body to eat those acidic, morphed out funky cells. This is the way that we should all be living. I mean, this is the real deal. And she was knowing other people who were reversing breast cancers and lung cancer and different kinds of things, because she's in these groups, and she was sharing her stories. And I still had a really hard time, man, kicking cooked food, beans, hummus, lentils and rice and potatoes. And so now I'm like, I've got to go raw. How can I do this? This is pretty extreme. And I'm skiing. I was up on the mountain skiing. This was 2017, in the winter of 2017. I think it was like the end of February, beginning of March. Yeah, it was the beginning of March. And I'm skiing, and I'm riding the ski lift up with this guy, and we start talking, and we got onto diet, because I mean, even before when I was keto, it was like all I could talk about was like how important it is with, what we put in our mouths. So we start talking about diet. I tell him my mom's story, and he asks what I do for a living. And at that time I was working in the coronary care unit. No. Sorry. I was in a pulmonary clinic.
Okay.
So we would, sell CPAP machines with people with sleep apnea. Oh, yeah. And it was interesting to see how many individuals they can't even breathe on their own. They're not oxygenating just in the middle of the night. Most of it is from their diet, realistically. Probably 95% of these people is diet related. So he takes off his glasses, his goggles, and looks right at me, and he's like, you should listen to your mom, Nate. He's like, I healed my colorectal cancer at the age of 44, and I'm 86. And I'm like, you're 86, dude? What are you doing on the mountain? Like, what? This is crazy. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm a raw foodie. I've been a raw foodie for 42 years. And that was like the aha moment for me. I was like, this is a man. I'm a man, I mean, sometimes it's hard to listen to our moms, even though they a lot of times want the best for us. Sure. But I'm looking at this guy, I'm like, dude, you're 86 and up here skiing. Like, okay, I'm on. Like, I know I should be doing this. I watched Dan the Man and Durian Ryder, and I understood these certain concepts. I didn't really let them sink in and just like grab a hold of it. Like, this is my life now. This is who I want to be. This is how I want to live. But it was that particular moment riding with that guy. We got off the ski lift, and I'm a snowboarder and he's a skier. He'd been skiing since he was 7. So, 79 years on the mountain. And dude, he's like, phew, I couldn't keep up with him, bro. Like,
Wow.
and I had turned 40 years old that year. And I was like, I want to be like that guy. I want to be like John.
Mm-hmm.
And he healed his colorectal cancer at 44. He's a raw foodie. I can't remember who he said for the life of me of who he got into what. It was basically his whole thing was all about living foods. He didn't call it raw vegan. He was like living foods.
Okay.
Sprouts, sprouting his lentils, always doing sprouting. His thing was sprouting because sprouts are alive. And it just, of course, it made sense because I'd been reading and touching up on this kind of stuff a little bit here and there. And yeah, so I went home that night and binged watched YouTube. And that's when I found Lissa. I was like, wow, this chick is so hot. Like, look at what she's done to herself. This is amazing. And like, she just was super down to earth and her recipes were epic. And I was like, all right, I'm buying her book. She's got a meal plan. I'm looking at her pictures. I'm like, oh, I could eat that. Yeah, that's not grapes.
Right.
I don't necessarily, I'm not trying to heal cancer. So I don't need to go as extreme as to, wean myself off of all food and just dry fast for 4 days at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to learn how to feed myself when it looks good, and it tastes good and all this stuff. So I bought her 30-day meal plan, and I got a couple of coworkers to go with me at work on like a 30-day raw. I was like, let's do it. You guys want to go raw? Because one of my coworkers was like, I'm so tired. I'm so tired of being tired. And I'm like, you want to go raw? We should go raw. We'll probably get some more energy because it's less work for our body to digest food because it's undamaged food. So it has all the enzymes it needs to break itself down. Let's do it. So they went with me on the raw journey. It was 3 women. One chick lasted like maybe 4 days. And the other 2 lasted the month. Okay. And then of course, after that month, they were over it. They went right back to eating their microwaved, cheese enchiladas and drinking sodas. And, they were doing it for a little weight loss. And I'm not sure how strict they were when they were at home, but during the day, I would prepare us the smoothies in the morning. I would make sure we were eating our snacks, and then I would do us the lunch. And we just followed that meal plan. And I was like, I felt so good, after that month. I'm like, I'm never stopping. I'm never going to stop. And I was like bound and determined to just stick with this because I'm looking at myself, even as vegan. I'm like, I'm not living a very healthy lifestyle. I'm eating a lot of the transitional vegan foods, lots of mock meats and mock cheeses, of course, lots of heavy starches with earth balanced butter. Like, I was keeping it vegan, but it wasn't health food, lots of oil, lots of sugar, lots of salt. And I just didn't feel good. I wanted to feel better. Even friends of mine are like, Nate, dude, yeah, you're vegan, but what you're eating isn't healthy. Because, I'm making like, I would do like, the field roast sausage and ground the sausage and do like the fake cheese, the day of cheese, and not fake cheese, the mock cheese. Yeah. And, tofu. So it was like basically a sausage and egg and cheese breakfast burrito. I'm like, dude, there's no animals that are being killed, like I'm all right. But I'm like, man, I'm kind of like killing myself realistically with this style of diet because of what I was adding to it, right? I was adding butter, a lot of, that's a lot of oil. For me personally, I was like, I want to feel good. So after that month on Lissa's, meal plan, it was a no-brainer because she laid out your shopping list, the tools that you'll need that particular day, like everything down to like how many dates you're going to use that particular day. So there was literally no thinking involved besides doing the work. And that's a part that is tricky. A lot of people have a hard time doing the work. We're so connected with our food. You just go buy something that's takeout. You don't have to do anything. You just sit down, open the box or the bag, and you start eating. And I liked her name, Raw Food Romance, like creating a relationship, like a romance with your food. And I had kind of understood that concept when I was doing the bodybuilding diet, keto diet, because I was thinking about what I was going to eat. I was like, all right, what am I going to make for tomorrow? I want to make sure, and I would do my food prep on Sunday, make sure I have meals ready all the way till Wednesday. Wednesday, I would do more meal prep. So I had already understood the concept of creating this relationship with my food. Yeah. But her name really, rang a bell for me too. But I just stuck with it, man. I kind of found my favorite, recipes in her book, which like the French dressing is so good and it's a fat-free dressing. So I was keeping my fat low and I was messing around with Chronometer. So I was making sure I was getting enough calories. And I would just constantly say to myself the mantra that she said, like, just say to yourself, I'm a raw vegan today. And so it was like day by day, even, after 2 into 3 months in, I'm just like, still like, I'm a raw vegan. Like, oh my gosh, it's Betty's birthday and they brought in some delicious donuts. but I'm a raw vegan. I'm a raw vegan today. Yeah, yeah, okay. I'm not gonna have donuts. Oh, it's Sherry's birthday. They brought the ice cream cake. Bite, maybe just one bite. No, I'm a raw vegan. I'm a raw vegan. So
Yeah.
I just stuck with that, man. And after about 3 months, there was no thinking involved anymore. I just was whizzing through the grocery store. I just knew what I needed to get. Basically, the produce section, the bulk section, and the herb section. The dried, the spices. And those are the 3 sections of the store I would hit. And I was out of there, man. It was so easy, so simple. There was I'd cut a melon in half and I'd eat the whole melon for breakfast. Of course, a lot of people are looking at me sideways with their breakfast sandwich going, "You're going to eat that whole melon?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to eat this melon." Right. Like, it's not very much. And sure, I might have to pee 5 times in the next 2 hours, but I feel great. And dropped all kinds of weight. People were like, "Geez, you're looking amazing." Of course, I had people thinking that I was sick, because I did lose quite a bit of weight. The thing with Lissa is kind of a wild one because it was March when I, transitioned. And then I went to the Woodstock Fruit Festival in August. And I met Jack Albright from Raw Tropical Living, which I'd also watched him on YouTube because I liked he was just this good old Southern boy. Yep. He'd eat mangoes and bananas. I'm like, dude, that's simple. That's how a man does it. Just simplicity. You don't have to not the frills and, all the, because Lissa makes her stuff look so beautiful. And sometimes, as a dude, you just don't have time to, but of course, fruit is the fastest food. Smoothies are super fast. And, so I met Jack. I showed him my before and after picture, told him my story, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, dude, I need to message Lissa right now. She has to interview you for her YouTube." And so I got back from the Woodstock Fruit Festival, and we connected, messaged each other, and did an interview. And of course, the same kind of thing, a lot of synchronicities in our life, going through divorce and, having just a lot of different things line up. We just immediately hit it off, and we talked until probably 3 a.m. after that interview. And then it was every single day, morning, noon, and night throughout, the next several months before we actually met. And it's really phenomenal. Like, I never in a million years thought I'd be marrying, the author of the book that I used to transition into this lifestyle. Yeah. So that's a long story. That's my whole story, man. That's how I got into raw foods. Watching my mom reverse her cancer, meeting John, the 86-year-old, and I was like, okay, this is it.